Would you say the biggest lesson you've learned this year in your business is to ride the wave, per se?
I guess ride the wave, but make the wave. You know what I mean? Like, don't just ride it. Like, if the waters are calm, start rocking the boat a little bit. You know what I mean? Start putting yourself out there. Start, letting people know what you do. Because you can't ride a wave if there is no wave. And welcome back for another episode of the Blueprint Podcast with your host. I'm Zach Iyer.
And I'm Spencer Maxwell. And today we're just gonna give a little rundown on the status of how business is going for us. We love to relate with you guys. We are not there yet, but we're on our way. And so we just want to walk the journey together with you and just kind of see if there's anything you could pick out from our journey. So first things first, Zach, where are you at in your business so far this year, as far as where you wanted to be, and then also where do you want to go?
Oh man, that's a good question. Things are going progressively better and better. It's morphed a little bit. Because when I first jumped in to help Tawny start the agency, it was a extremely heavy focus on social media marketing, right? And since we've added Grant as our graphic designer, that arm of the agency has really started to take off. And it was our goal to do that. But I guess I didn't realize that it would start coming as quickly as it is. We have been able to start landing clients of bigger magnitude a lot quicker than what I thought. Yeah. Just because with the Z&T agency, we don't necessarily have a track record with just that. Starting off, we've begun to build that now. But I guess I didn't realize how receptive clients would be to just strictly utilizing Grant's track record.
So there's a need for website building and brand building that maybe you didn't know necessarily was in demand as what you thought. And then so that's kind of like an unexpected traffic. But now, do you have a goal for that for the rest of the year? Yeah,
no, for sure. So our goal is to completely max out Grant on a monthly basis on the amount of projects.
Which is how many?
Which is 3 comfortably. So 3 websites, and that's also 3 logo packages. The logo packages aren't really as predominant as the websites, because what I'm beginning to see is, yes, there are startup companies that do need a website just straight from scratch, that don't have anything pre-existing. But I'm seeing the niche is a lot of these companies that have existing websites that just are not very good. They're not up to date. They aren't a good reflection of the company or their
not
brand.
On brand.
Yeah. So I'm seeing that as a really good opportunity to jump in and enhance that. And that's where a lot of our clients have been coming from. And then we're starting to kind of move upstream a little bit in terms of the size and quality, not quality, I guess the overall size of companies that we're working with. I think that it wouldn't be a problem to say, but we just landed CLC, their new website, which is the church that we go to, 3,000 member mega church. And we just landed rebuilding their new site. So opportunities are starting to come from that. So that is heading on a trajectory in which I guess I didn't realize how quickly it would go that direction. I'm happy it is. We were making strides to go kind of at that clip, but I see so much more potential, and I see the ability at the end of the year, possibly being able to help Grant get to the point to where he can have graphic designers under him. So that's going really well.
So would you say the biggest lesson you've learned this year in your business is to ride the wave, per se?
I guess ride the wave, but make the wave. You know what I mean? Like, don't just ride it. Like, if the waters are calm, start rocking the boat a little bit. You know what I mean? Start putting yourself out there. Start, letting people know what you do. Because you can't ride a wave if there is no wave.
Yeah.
And when you start a business, there is no wave because nobody knows that you even do things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons that I've learned.
How have you gotten all these websites? What have you done specifically to start selling the websites?
Yeah. So,
or your services, I should say.
Yeah. So one of the things is we've been obviously advertising what we do, but I think the most productive thing is, and we talk about this a lot, is just putting yourself in positions where you're meeting people, right? And building your network.
What position were you in because the CLC, the Christian Life Center website, is a big land.
Yeah.
What did you do to land that? Like, where were you?
Yeah. So
how did you?
Well, I mean, I remember this specifically. We were going to Man Church one Thursday night, right? And we get there a little bit late because Spencer's paying with cash and, being an old man.
Whatever. I like cash and checks. You can make fun of me for it.
It's fine. You're old school. I get it. Whatever. We'll get you with the trends. I'm just kidding. I love you, Spencer. But anyhow, we're getting in there a little bit late. And we were also talking. We were talking to Pastor Jordan. And we walk into a room full of like 300 people and like tables are filled, right? And I'm just like, Spencer, we need to go sit up front.
Yeah.
Like, let's just go make our way up there.
We're sitting in the front of the class kind of guys.
Yeah.
Because we like paying attention.
Yeah. And like, I don't want to whip out my binoculars to see what's going on. So I'm like, let's go up front. And sure enough, some guy's just like, hey, you can have my seats, right? And just through making conversation with people at our table, one of the guys that was sitting at our table actually is like a part of the marketing team, runs their social media, was already starting the development project of their new website. I had no idea. We're just making casual conversation with
organic
the people.
Conversation.
Organic. And the guy's just like, what'd you say that you do? And just opened up the opportunity. And then you go just be a human and start talking to people. Right. And so that's just one of the examples of putting yourself out there. And, you never know. I'm not saying go to events with the intention of, strictly
focus on the relationship first.
Yeah, for sure. Just go put yourself out there with people. And I think that's one of the things that people don't want to do what's uncomfortable. Right. There are some people of the personality type that's like, let's go make friends. But there's also people that are like, I would rather not do that. But by you stepping outside of your comfort zone and you making the wave versus trying to just like, paddle your way through still water, results happen. And so I think that's one of the biggest pushes, especially as you're starting to build a business, right? And you're starting to build a track record, is just leveraging your existing network and putting yourself in places to where you have those opportunities. Yeah.
Focus on the relationships first. The rest will come.
Yep. I mean, gee whiz, man, I just talk forever. So I'm sorry. I want to talk a quick little update on the Maxwell group. Dude, you got a lot going on, man. Good grief. I don't want to tell the audience everything you got going on, but you're hiring on the team. You just closed on an office. Like, you got a lot going, flips. You got a lot going on. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sorry. My boys gave me a little bit of a cough here this past weekend. But Yeah, we just hired on a good friend of mine, Zach Schertz, who is a relationship builder. I think he was the best man in like 4 or 5 weddings last year, which goes to
Really?
show how much he values relationship.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, man, you'd be perfect because real estate is purely taking care of people.
Wait, he was the best man in 4 or 5 weddings just last
Just
year.
last year.
Holy smokes.
Dude, he is like everybody's best friend.
Wow. I
Yeah.
did not realize.
Yeah.
Dang.
And so I was like, okay, well, this like real estate would be great for you. And he's like, I'm in. And so he just got licensed. He was on a bunch of showings with me this past weekend.
How'd that go?
It went good. So we're under contract with the buyer that we showed a bunch of homes. He's asking questions. It's a blast, like teaching him stuff, just transferring mindset. It's really fun.
I feel like that's the best way to learn too.
Yeah.
Just be like on the job.
Yeah. And so we're scheduling inspections. He's going to be there with the inspector. That's really cool. And he's going to be CC'd in on all my stuff, all my interactions, which is really cool. So I'm kind of trying to give him a lot of my systems, brain, and network. But he's super excited. Like he's like, hey, like let me know when you get an inspection scheduled. I can't wait to be there, kind of thing. And
Really?
so it's
That's
really cool.
awesome.
So that's going really well. I see a lot of potential there. And then, he's going to be at the office every day because it's right around the corner of his house. I did just buy an office in Kettering.
Business owners, do you know the value of creating a strong brand and realize social media is one of the best ways to do it, but don't have the time to stay consistent or know where to start? Do you need a modern website or an eye-catching logo? You only get one first impression and you've got to make it count. No matter if you're looking for a website, a logo package, or if you need a professional to craft and implement a custom social media strategy to create a recognizable brand and drive sales, the Z&T agency has got you covered. Odds are you've probably been thinking about these things to some degree, but didn't know a solution. Or maybe this is all new to you and you're interested in hearing more. Either way, we'd love to talk to you. Reach out to zach.hire@theztagency.com to book your consultation call today.
And
Prime location.
Yeah, it's great location.
It's awesome.
In this little office condo building. It's smaller, but it'll be good for us to start in.
Well, I feel like it's totally functional in the layout, though. It's like perfect for what you're looking for.
Yeah. So, but demo is going on right now as we speak. So
you started demo?
Yeah, carpet's getting ripped up right now.
Let's go.
And all the railing and wallpaper is getting ripped off, so we can get. And then the cabinets are going to be put in.
I think that I'm just as excited for this office as you are.
So, like, it should be like almost halfway. It should be halfway done in like the next week or two.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that you were waiting to like start full on reno. Like,
I'm doing it bit by bit, but Brian's doing a lot. So, really excited about that.
Oh,
and
that's news.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And then, so on top of that, that's going to be the house of the Maxwell group there. It's going to be the Maxwell house. Wow, I just put that together. There we go. Maxwell house.
That's cool.
But anyway, and then we're also doing, I like to stay busy with other stuff too. So I have investors and gosh, we have 3 flips going on right now.
Daggone.
So flipping my sister a house, my brother's getting a house, and then I'm also me and my business partner Greg just finished up one house. It's on the market. Hopefully that thing sells. But
tell us a little bit about that. I mean, first of all, Bryant crushed that.
It was great.
On the design.
Yeah.
And didn't you just kind of give him free reign to just be like, hey, go do it?
No headache at all. Like typically I have to like be pretty hands-on with a flip, but with Brian, I was just like, hey, free reign.
And he crushed it.
Yeah. Knocked it out of the park. Like everything that he did in there, I would have done myself.
Hey, if you guys are wondering what this final product looks like, if you go to Maxwell Group socials, you can see the before, you can see the transition.
Maxwell Group Realty on Instagram.
Yep. And on TikTok too.
Yeah.
Yeah, on TikTok too. And you can see the design on that one.
But that was really fun. Like we're having a lot of fun with these flips right now. And then one, I just think it, like especially as I bring Zach on to help me out, if I can get him in there for like a demo day on the next flip, and just kind of how if he can be a student of the process, I think it just makes you a better realtor. Because a lot of realtors, the majority of realtors, I mean, I hate to say it, they don't know what is behind a wall, or what goes into a house.
Is being a realtor like selling sunset?
Not at all. I wish I had time to just go out to that many lunches and dinners and drink that much wine, but no, it is not. It's a lot more ugly than that. Like the other day, I got called out to let a plumber in because we had a sewer backup at one of my clients' Airbnbs that's out of town, and I'm the gatekeeper because I have the keys, and this, I was just sitting there while this guy was snaking drain, and there's just floating toilet paper in the basement. So it's like that's real estate.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's real estate.
That is.
But it's like you got to do that stuff. Everybody's got to start somewhere, and I'm by no means the luxury lister in Dayton, Ohio. But I'm blessed but willing, and I'm moving and shaking as much as I can.
For sure.
And so just finding different avenues. But yeah, it's a blast, man. We do have a lot going on.
Yeah. And so let me ask you the same questions that you were asking me. Through this process, obviously you do have a lot going on. What are some things, key takeaways that you've learned through the process of, where you were at the beginning of the year? Hard to believe we are already like halfway through 2024.
I know.
Unbelievable. So, I mean, at the beginning of this year to where you're at now, you've accomplished a lot. You've done a lot. You've hired a team, you've hired an agent, you've, closed on an office, you're starting that process, you're doing flips. What are some things that you've learned throughout that process?
Oh gosh, some things I've learned. You know what? I have, and I feel bad for maybe people who have come before this. I've always been like a fair and reasonable guy, but something I've really done well at, I think this year, something I've gotten a lot better at is really being a stickler on like, hey, now this is what my client says. I've become a better negotiator this year.
Nice.
Yeah. A lot better negotiator. So, I've really honed in on my negotiation skills this year, and I've gone to bat really hard for a lot of clients. And even if I can get let's say an extra 1,000 in closing costs, I've just like been relentless on that sometimes. And so that's something that I've really honed in on this year and that I really see coming to light. And it's really fun to see that because I'm putting my clients in a better situation because of it.
I love that. And this is just kind of my thoughts on negotiating specifically. I feel like oftentimes if you're perceived as a nice guy and trying to just like make things work and, not be too rah-rah, I feel like a lot of times, like you can kind of get taken advantage of a little bit.
100%. And that's how I was in the beginning. But I mean, the real estate industry will toughen you up because everybody's out, for their client, for blood. And so, I've just kind of done the same thing. I've really, like I said, I've honed in on that. And then it's about like, and I always reference the show Suits because
I love that show,
because it's like Harvey Specter, is always thinking 3 steps ahead on how he can put somebody in a situation to lose so that he can, boom, put his foot down on him and squish him. And so it's like, that's also real estate in some sense where it's, you got to think 3 steps ahead on how do I put myself in the best situation to have leverage? Yeah. And so that's super fun. It's been really sharpening this year to see things from a zoomed out angle to gain leverage for clients. But yeah, as we go throughout the year, I would say, I mean, one of my goals are to, one, get Zach up and running fully to where he can start working with agents where I'm not, I can be more from like a management standpoint, or I could just, put my hand in the pot every once in a while to help him out, but really get him making some extra income. And then also I want to have the office done by the fall and host a nice client party at the new office. It's one of my short-term goals.
That's really cool. And then we're also going to be transferring over DNA to your office too.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Our networking group. Yeah, that'll be a blast.
I'll tell you what, I'm so excited for that group, man. A bunch of killers.
Yeah.
A bunch of absolute dogs.
Yeah.
And I mean,
sharpening each other up.
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. So, we've kind of talked about things that you've learned. We've talked about, kind of your short-term goals. Do you have anything on the big horizon of like what you want to do, what you want to accomplish with what you're doing?
Are you looking to buy, sell, or invest? Be sure to use a Maxwell Group at NavX Realty, where your dream is our passion. The Maxwell Group takes pride in client relationships and experiences. We utilize our knowledge, our love for the industry, and our extensive network to handle your life's biggest investment. Call or text Spencer Maxwell at 937-572-5382. I always have dreams and goals, that I'm, it's like an entrepreneur's brain is just like, gosh, it's like a freaking 7-lane highway. You never,
For sure.
just going in all directions.
Well, let me ask you this. Are there any more skill sets that you want to learn or any more skill sets that you want to get better at? Because I feel like that's kind of at the heart of this podcast, because I mean, you said it at the beginning of, we're at the beginning stages. So we can't be like, oh, we had $100 million exit. We don't have that. All we have is relatability and taking you all along the journey. So yeah,
I would say, so that's a really good question. I would say, because of Zach coming on, I would say the skills that I want to sharpen, one is my leadership skills.
Mm-hmm.
I've always seen myself as a leader, but I don't know if I'm a good one because I'm still learning how to cater to different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody is me, and that's what I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
And so I also want to get better. I just want to be aware of my influence and how that comes across. So I would definitely say the leadership skills is number one. Just to learn within the next couple weeks how Zach learns, how I can best train him. And then also just lead my clients better too, as well, whether it's like making systems to educate them better on the process.
Yep.
And just, I would say leadership.
Okay.
Leadership.
Very cool.
Yeah. What about you?
I think that this ties into kind of my goals of what I want for the agency, but one of the skills that I really want to learn is truly how to build. I really want to like
scale,
like build and scale.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I want to do. And, I've never really done that from a business perspective, like of anything of magnitude, right? Because I'm at the beginning stages, but I really want to learn from guys who have done that.
Yeah.
And really genuinely build something properly and great. And so that ties into some of our goals of like, we were talking a little bit about the websites earlier and being able to get to a point to where we build a flow for Grant. So that way he's able to get more graphic designers under him. But I really want to kind of replicate what we're doing with Grant in different branches of the agency. So what do I mean by that? I would love to get to a point to where we hire somebody, or not even hire somebody, but do what we do with Grant of like, we have somebody that is an expert in, let's say, paid ads, right? That would be able to understand the ins and outs, understand the hooks and what's required, understand all the technical background of things within how to operate paid ads, and somebody that is just point blank bless you.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome. Somebody that is just basically an expert at what they do. Right. So I want to begin to build different arms of the agency where we have professionals that are the top of their craft in what they do. So that way we are providing a top tier, excellent service, just like what we're doing with Grant. Mm-hmm. But we're able to not detract from the main thing that we do, which is the social media side. But at the same time, we can provide multiple different services that end up being a comprehensive one-stop shop marketing agency.
Yeah.
And that way, our clients are getting the best of the best in all of the different aspects. And we are not having to go through that learning curve to where, we're charging people for us trying to learn, or whatever that may look like. So for me, is just one of the biggest skills is just learning how to build, and build well. So I think and that's multifaceted, right? There's so much that goes into that.
Well, gosh, when Dave Petroni was here for when we had him on as a guest, I was like, something that he said that I wish I was, and that I want to get to the point of being, is a financial architect.
Yeah.
Just like, and like
explain to me what that looks like for you.
Like, really kind of like what he did was like set up that fund to where half of people's rent, if you're in lower income or affordable housing, half their rent went to a down payment assistance program for their new house, being able to analyze deals like it's nobody's business with like rental pro formas or analyzing multifamily real estate or developments. And then just really having the accounting mindset is my biggest thing.
Yeah. That is a lofty goal.
That's a lot, man. But hey, Mark, like I said, when he was here, Mark Cuban said, if you don't know accounting, you're behind the eight ball.
That's so
you're trying
true.
to start a business. And so it's that would be something
that you want to learn and acquire as well.
Yeah.
Or enhance.
Enhance. Definitely at least start, because Lord knows that's probably a couple of years before you ever perfect, if you can ever perfect that craft.
Well, my perspective on it is I want to know enough to be dangerous. And then I want to hire somebody that's 10 times better than I'll ever be to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, and it's, you know what, if you're listening to this, if you're listening to today's episode, drop us, reach out to us and drop us a skill that you want to learn this year.
Absolutely. I would love to. And honestly, I would love to know, just from a listener's perspective, like what you guys are thinking of the podcast. And while you also drop a skill that you want to learn, also like send us topics that you want to hear about. And like we said, the caveat to this is we are at the beginning, right? So we have a little bit of knowledge, but we're certainly not, there yet. And this is following along in the journey. But if you have topics that you want to hear our perspective on, or that will help us guide to get guests that do have the experience on that, we'd love to know what you guys are wanting to hear and create this podcast, for you guys and helping you grow. So you can send us a skill that you want to learn or a topic that you want to us to discuss on our Blueprint social media pages.
Yeah.
So our Instagram, just send us a DM.
But if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, or, you're on track to become one, you have to sharpen your skill sets. You have to be constantly learning. You have to be self-educating, because if not, then the river's just going to push you back. You have to constantly be paddling forward, because you're always going upstream as an entrepreneur. So continue to sharpen, continue to educate, and continue to hone in on those skills that you do want to learn.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh boy. We forgot the scripture today. That's okay.
Stay obedient in God's word.
Yep.
That's what we'll tell you.
That's good. Spencer 1:1.
Yeah. Look at Proverbs for as far as this one, as far as looking for wisdom, look at the book of Proverbs. That's what we'll tell you.
That's right. Just like every other week.
Yeah, there we go.
Just kidding. But like we said, if you are finding value through this podcast, you're enjoying some of the guests that we're bringing on, I'm not going to lie. We have some exciting guests that we're talking to that we want to bring on in the future that we think that you guys will love. So if you're finding value either through us, the guest, the podcast, if you could just leave us a review, share to other people that you think that might find value. That's ultimately what we want, is for more people to be able to grow and learn. So that would be much appreciated. And then, as always, if you like and subscribe, that'd be appreciated too.
Yeah.
So that's all we got for this week on the Blueprint Podcast, and we will see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.